Okay. I admit. You were right again. I should have looked at the Explained by a Korean videos for all the songs that I listen to. But you know what's amazing? I can always go back and do them now, which is what we're going to do. We're going to start off with. You already know. Why am I telling you? August D. DAECHWITA. I'm pretty excited about this one. So many of you have told me some of the key pieces in the video that I needed to be aware of. I mean, it is so much. I am excited. This is a little bit of a longer video too, so we got a lot of juicy stuff to dive into. Before we start, first of all, thank you to everybody on Patreon. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support as well, links in the description. It's little as $1 a month. If you don't want to, that's cool too. It's no big deal. All the information that goes onto Patreon is going to be available on YouTube as well at some point. There are some that are exclusive just to Patreon, but those are at this point a little bit less than what you would assume. So anyway, thank you for that. I love you guys. Let's dive in to the goods. I didn't forget how good the song is. I still remember. By the way, I still remember because I also I listened to it like an hour ago as well. Not related to this video. I just happened to listen to it. And I wonder if Google knew that I listened to it because it recommended this. Whatever. Let's go.
Delivered another hard-hitting mixtape titled D2. The first August D album, released in 2016, focused on the tough time Suga faced when he was a teenager. Suga's at a very different place now. He's much older and he's much more successful. And this album focuses on the changes of his feelings after becoming one of music's biggest superstars. It's a very honest album, and my personal favorite off of this is the title track, DAECHWITA. It's an ultimate honest album, and my personal favorite off of this is the title track, DAECHWITA.
If you actually corrected the way that I pronounced that, I apologize. I definitely didn't see it. Let me get it one more time. I'm going to make sure I don't say that again.
It's a very honest album, and my is the title track, DAECHWITA.
DAECHWITA. I really want to do like a video where we like learn Korean together. Okay, enough. Let's go.
It's an ultimate flex track slash warning slash reminder with tons of historical references, so let's take a look into it.
Let's go. Let's do it. It's so badass. It's so badass.
Yeah.
Let's go. We get to listen again? So hard, dude. So fucking hard.
That was played when kings or royalty were moving about, or important guests would visit, as well as when army would be marching.
Like the Korean army or army? Wink.
There are two main characters in this music video, a King Suga and a bottom class Suga. We can see that the King Suga is a tyrant. He has everyone kneeling down with the faces down in the ground. And he beheads people who have complaints in this scene. You can see the Shinmungo here.
That's what that was? Bro, I thought they were packing up a chicken, dude. I thought they had just slaughtered a chicken and they were gonna go... Dude, are you kidding me?
People in the Joseon dynasty would hit this drum if they had something that they've been wronged. They'd hit this drum and the king or someone up in the hierarchy would come and sort out their problems. Except here, King Suga is killing the people who have such complaints and issues. But the bottom class Suga, with the help of BTS and army represented by the 6 other men and a woman in the scene, starts a coup. He drives up a car with the men representing BTS and also a cute painting of Bang PD. By the way, this painting has its origins in a Jungkook drawing of Pang PD. It's pretty funny. The King Suga sees this and gives a thumbs down and captures the bottom class Suga. The King Suga wants to kill him and does this graceful sword dance, which apparently Suga learned in 2 days. Meanwhile, bottom...
Y'all told me he learned it. I don't know if y'all told me they learned it in 2 days. And that's a real sword too. Dude, Suga's badass, man. Suga's badass.
Class Suga, blindfolded and tied down, starts headbanging, singing DAECHWITA.
I can't go that fast.
Remember how I told
My
you
head's
that
too fat.
DAECHWITA was played when kings were about, or when the army would be marching? The bottom class Suga singing this is an announcement that he is actually the real king. He feels like he's the king. The people under the king, the very ones that were kneeling to him in the beginning, are now joining Suga, headbanging with him. This DAECHWITA is also for them. These kneeling people are armies marching together with the bottom class Suga. At the end, the executioner who was supposed to take down the bottom class Suga actually frees him and gives him a gun. Bottom class Suga grabs this and shoots the king. I think the MV and the song is a metaphor for BTS and ARMY taking down the existing system and the ruling forces of the industry. The King Suga...
Okay, so that wasn't a mistake when he said, and army. I figured he just happened to skip the word, and the army, representing the government army. He meant army.
represents
Army.
the system, the existing system, the few powerful companies that had control over the industry before BTS came to the scene. Bottom class Suga is Suga himself in a small company with basically nothing, as if he was born into a bottom class, and winning the people over, eventually taking down the king with BTS and armies. I think Suga picked the perfect motif to convey his message. And if you look at the historical references, you'll be more amazed at how clever this all is. While this
A lot of people generally would complain, I feel, on the inhales. The sharp. I love that. I love that noise. I don't know why, but it complements so well. I love it.
The verse has a lot to unpack, but let's just start with this line. The Joseon Dynasty, which is most likely where the song is set in, had a strict class system where there was a heavy discrimination based on which class you were born into. Slaves were not even considered human. They would be traded in cases their owners didn't have enough money, and they were thought of more as just things. Think about the mistreatment that BTS received earlier on in their careers. They faced heavy discrimination due to them being from a small company, and they were mistreated. So it's easy to understand why Suga called himself a slave here. Slaves in Joseon were almost completely blocked off from advancing to higher classes. So for a slave to become a king is basically impossible. But Suga's saying he made it happen. The following line is a reference to Gwanghaegun, the king of Joseon Dynasty in the 17th century. He developed paranoia while in power and notoriously became violent and reckless. Hence the line, Berserk Tiger, Gwanghae Flow. But I think there are more reasons Suga referenced Gwanghae in the lyrics.
Y'all are right. Sorry. Y'all are so right. Like, this adds such a deeper level to it.
Especially if you consider what his life was like. Gwanghaegun had a very roller coaster of a life. Originally, he was a war hero, defending Joseon against the Japanese invasion of 1592, one of the biggest wars in
It's a beautiful painting. Wow.
His father, who was then king, had fled when the war broke out, and the 18-year-old Prince Gwanghae led Joseon troops in the battlefield. Rarely at this time did kings or to-be kings go out into the battlefield themselves. So Gwanghae, fighting with the people, won their hearts over, and there were movements to throne him as the king instead of his father. The father felt threatened by this, so he made a lot of political efforts to stop Gwanghae from gaining influence. Eventually, Gwanghae became stuck between two large political powers, and this struggle eventually made Gwanghae go paranoid and become violent and reckless. Ultimately, he was dethroned after a coup. I think Suga somewhat
Wow.
relates to Gwanghae as he himself had been through a tough adolescence, having to go out into the battlefield at an early age, just like Gwanghae did. He was an idol with no money, from a small company stuck in an industry dominated by big corporations. When Suga started winning battles and gaining power, he must felt a lot of efforts from the existing big powers to keep him away from the throne, like what Gwanghae experienced from his father when the people wanted him to become the king. Suga mentions putting his past in the rice chest. For many Koreans, the word Twiju, or rice chest, is strongly connected to the tragic story of Sado Seja, which involves him dying in a rice chest. Sado Seja was the son of then King Yeongjo, and his father was extremely harsh on him, humiliating him and scolding him in front of others at a very early age. This became so severe that Sado Seja attempted to commit suicide a few times. But even then, he was treated terribly. He developed what modern doctors diagnose as bipolar disorder and began acting very violently. Eventually, the king ended up hating Sado Seja so much that he orders Sado Seja to go into a rice chest. Sado Seja went in, and he was stuck inside for 8 days and eventually starved to death. Sado Seja had a troubled life, filled with being humiliated and mistreated, and mental health issues just not being understood. Suga has been pretty open about his mental health issues he had when he was growing up, and I think he relates to Sado Seja. He sees himself in him. He says he's putting his past in the rice chest. It's a declaration that he's putting the old troubled Yoongi, the Sado Seja Yoongi, behind and looking at what's ahead of him.
Holy shit, dude. How do you... He's intertwining so much stuff. This is... Would anybody even be able to know that without, like, being a history major? Like, how did he know? We'll save it for another video, I guess. Hang on. Let's rewind just a second. So fast. Holy shit, he's fast. Fuck me, dude.
In the second verse,
He's so fast. Oh my god, dude. Like, I've heard this multiple times. I've heard the song multiple times by now. Only once with y'all. This would be, I guess, like, point something. Wouldn't even be a full-time hearing the song. But he's so fucking fast.
Suga focuses more on how he's now on the throne, and he's better than everybody else. Suga directly name drops Bang PD and also takes a shot at other artists who do drugs thinking that they write better music while they're high. I won't name any names here, but I'm sure you can think of an artist, or a few artists for that matter, that will be at the butt end of this. Some in bigger companies, in fact.
Ooh, boy!
The diss aside, this line is also a glimpse into Bang PD's relationship with BTS. In a typical company, it'd be
What is Bang PD? Is that another band? Was that them?
also a glimpse into Bang
That's their competition?
PD's relationship with BTS. In a typical company, it'd be extremely difficult to even mention the name of your boss this openly without putting the honorifics Nim, especially considering how much a veteran and how much older Bang PD is compared to BTS. However, Suga name drops Bang PD as if he was his friend. We can sense that there is a very close bond and assume that Bang PD is very democratic with BTS. The fact that Suga is talking of Bang PD so casually is a flex of its own to others, as it's a sign that BTS has become so big and valuable to the company that he's at level with Bang PD.
We're gonna rewind that. It'll always shock me. It'll always shock. Like, how does this move that fast? How is that even physically possible?
Has become so big
Superman.
and valuable to the company that he's at level with Bang PD.
God damn,
Now
dude.
this is an interesting bit. Here Suga uses the Korean word hyunta. Hyunta is an interesting Korean slang
Hentai.
that is used all around the internet.
Kidding.
Directly translated as wise man's time, it is a word to describe the feeling you get right after you've ejaculated. Yes, ejaculated.
Okay, well, I guess hentai isn't the most explicit thing that's going to be said in this video.
And you feel no more sexual urges, and you have a moment of clarity in your brain. You feel still, present, and sometimes disappointed that the short moment of satisfaction was all you got, and you worked so hard for it.
It's called post-nut clarity. I mean, that's the way that I was taught. I was taught as a wee little pup. My grandfather took me out back. He said, "Son, when you get the post-nut clarity, everything becomes clear."
Slang originated from Japan.
I'm not even Irish.
A staple in Korean.
I don't know who that guy was.
And it is widely from of satisfaction.
I didn't listen to that entire thing. What is wrong with me, dude?
And you feel no more sexual urges, and you have a moment of clarity in your brain. You feel still, present, and sometimes disappointed that the short moment of satisfaction was all you got, and you worked so hard for it. This slang originated from Japan, but it has become a staple in Korean everyday language, and it is widely used in everyday life outside of sexual situations. Usually in situations when you finally got what you dearly wanted, and you wonder, that was it? Suga's saying he's feeling extreme hyunta because he has it all. He has money, he has clothes, he has everything he ever wanted, and there's nothing, no one above him. While this could be considered a small cry for help, I think within the context of this song, it's more of a hard flex. He's saying, others can only dream of what I have, but now I got everything and I feel bored and disappointed. But you won't know how I feel because you never had any of this. BTS has been on the top for the past few years, absolutely dominating, with a level of popularity that has never been seen.
I'm never going to get over the fact that this right here is something that y'all could do at a concert. That's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life.
K-pop before. They're so dominant
Every time.
that it's sometimes easy to forget that they too had humble beginnings. In fact, more humble than most top artists out now today. They had to fight their way through discrimination, mistreatment, and humiliation. DAECHWITA is a reminder that this was where they started, and they took that system down. And it's also a warning that they had the resilience and the force to go through all of this, to go from slave to king. If you want us to make more videos like this, supporting us on patreon.com/DKDKTV.
Go help them out too.
These explain videos get copyright claimed, thus we make no money off of them, 0 cents. So please consider supporting us on patreon.com/DKDKTV.
They deserve it.
For just a cup of coffee a month, you can get exclusive content and also help us continue our careers. And until next time, bye-bye.
If you want to have me watch them do their exclusive content, you can support me for the cost of a cup of coffee. These guys are really, they're very useful. It's a very needed service. That was awesome. That was fantastic. Every time I hear this song, when he just starts speeding up, it just melts my brain. And you want to know what the thing is I think about like the sounds that he's making and how he's making them. I'm like, my mouth has never moved in that way because I spoke other languages, but primarily English. And it just doesn't, I don't understand how he's doing that. I guess there's a reason why he's in BTS, huh? Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, thumbs up. If you want to see some more, subscribe and hit the bell. Comment suggestions, all the good stuff down below. Actually, I need to remember to give you all the Discord link. We have a Discord now. So if you want to come and talk shop, let me try that again. Talk shop, talk K-pop. Try that 10 times fast. Or anything else, or just hang out. We got one now. Instagram and Twitter at JohnnyZetaTV. I always forget. I'm like, there's something else. Okay. All right. Enough. I've had too much fun for this video. I love y'all. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.